Welcome, I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up. I use products from Stampin' Up to make this fun flip-flap card. It opens two ways, one with that pull tab that flips it open, and also as a standard card opening. I also sell a few other items to make crafting more convenient. I will have the free detailed directions for you for this card on my website. I also am offering a card kit. You will want to order the Timeless Tropical Bundle that comes with the In the Tropics dies. I also am using the Coastal Weave embossing folder. I'm sending you thoughts on this list just because I think it is a great stamp set if you choose to use that instead of these greetings. You will also want to order the Crumb Cake stamp pad and the Real Red stamp pad. And I neglected to put Garden Green ink on my list of products, and the Detailed Trio punch and the Classic Label punch. In the card kit, you will find Daffodil Delight card base that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. A piece of this wonderful Tropical Classics Designer Series paper. This has lots and lots of layers. I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4 to go on the inside. This is the critical piece for making this flip-flap card. This piece is 2 3/4 by 4. The other pieces are really just for decorating. I have a piece of Grapefruit Grove that's 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. This is also a piece that's critical, that is a piece of Daffodil Delight 2 inches by 6 inches, scored at 2 and 2.5 inches. I have a piece of Crumb Cake that is 3.5 by 4 3/4, and I have a piece of Daffodil Delight that will go behind that is 3 by 4 1/4. I have a piece of Garden Green that we'll be using to cut our leaves from. This piece is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. This piece of Whisper White is 1 7/8 by 3 7/8, and a piece of Daffodil Delight that is 2 by 4. I also have a piece of this braided burlap trim and some of the linen thread. I have some dimensionals and some tear and tape. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the Designer Series paper on the card front. On the longer part of this 2 by 6 piece of Daffodil Delight, I have one that's a square and one that's a longer side. On the longer side, I'm going to punch the corner rounder. So this punch, I'm putting it all the way into these stops and pushing in the center of the punch. And then I'm going to punch this hole in the center. So this does have a line to help you center on your cardstock. And again, I'm punching in the center. I'm going to use the Garden Green to stamp May Your Birthday Be Memorable on that funny 1 7/8 by 3 7/8 right in the middle. The B on birthday is going to go off the edge a little bit. I'm going to use Real Red ink to stamp the Hibiscus. I've got this funny marking on my stamp. I got the label on backwards, so I put where the Hibiscus center is. Let this be a lesson to you to be careful when you're putting your labels on. No fixing them once they're on. And I'm also going to stamp this on the Whisper White for the inside. And I'm going to stamp this on the envelope as well. I'm going to use the dies to cut this out. So I've got my hibiscus, and I also have my green, my garden green. And so I'm going to pull those out. I'm also going to pull these two leaves out. And I'm just arranging those on there. The flower should fit perfectly. Oops. You may have to rotate that flower around to make sure you've got it going the right direction, and then run it through. So I've got my two leaves. This smaller one cuts and embosses. I hope you can see that. And I want two of each of those, so I'll run those through again. And then I'm going to texturize my leaves by spritzing it. You can spritz it with alcohol or water. I'm using Stampin' Mist because I always have that handy, and it smells nice too. I'm going to scrunch this up just in a real tight ball. As you open it up, be gentle because it is easy to tear the cardstock at this point. So just take your time and be gentle. And this will give lots of great texture. You want to set those aside to dry. Then I'm going to use that Coastal Weave embossing folder, and on the side that has Stampin' Up on it, I'm going to use crumb cake ink to add some extra texture. And so I'm going to just pat my crumb cake ink pad all over that. In a perfect world, I would only get it on the very top. Looks like I was a little heavy-handed on that side, but that's okay. But because I was heavy-handed on that side, I think I'm going to put my cardstock on this side and close it, and I'll run this through the Big Shot. So for this, I need the platform. I do not need the thin die adapter or either of the clear plates. But I do want to use the blue 3D embossing plate. So I'm going to set that on my platform, the blue one on top, and run it through. And that just really adds a lot of detail to the already detailed embossing folder. This, just rinse that off in the sink and it'll be good as new. You're going to put the stamped greeting on the piece of Daffodil Delight that's just a tiny bit larger. And you're going to put the embossed piece on the Daffodil Delight. Then we're going to slide this piece in to the classic label punch as far as it will go, kind of centered top to bottom. This is where our mechanism will be going. I want to put dimensionals around the outside. I can put dimensionals on this side, but not here where the mechanism is going. So I'm putting this on our card front. Then I'm slipping that 2x6 piece in, the part that we punched. That's going to go in here and back up so that the hole is just barely showing past the green. You're going to put a piece of tear and tape right on that very edge. And double check that we've got this positioned where we want it, folding it as close to half as we can, and then just flipping that over. And this is what makes that flip flap, just that little bit like that. That's working perfectly. We want to put our cord on here, so I'm slipping in that braided ribbon. This is kind of stiff for making a bow or a knot or anything like that, so I'm using the linen thread to tie this closed, and I want to pull that pretty tight. I am going ahead and tying this in a square knot here, and then I can tie this in a bow. Okay, we want to push that back in. So now we've got a square and then a 1/2 inch strip here. We want to put adhesive on that 2-inch square. And this should be a little bit to the right of that crease. I don't know if you can see the crease on the video. And we want to center top to bottom. And then on this 2-inch strip, we want to put tear and tape. Again, not right all the way to the fold, but close to it. I'm putting one strip on, and I am tearing off the backing so that I can put a second row on that goes against up to this other fold, so that I have tear and tape on that full width of that 1/2 inch. And this piece is going to go right up against that fold, and it should be pretty centered. Be sure that that 2-inch part is stuck, and that's all that makes this flip-flop. So then I'm going to go ahead and put my hibiscus on, putting on more dimensionals. I'm just going to bring in my silicone mat, put adhesive on those small leaves that are on the back of the embossed side. And I'm just putting those on those leaves to just give some texture and detail. And then adding a little bit more glue to slip underneath the flower. You need to be sure that this leaf does not go on the part that's going to flip. You don't want to get that in the way of your mechanism. But it will be plenty out of the way on this side. So then we just need to put our inside layer on. And that's it. A fun flip-flap card. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. And you'll find a PayPal button to order the card kit you saw in this video. Under Shop, I have tips for online shopping, frequent shopping rewards, and products I offer to help you stay organized. I offer a cardstock sampler, taggers to help you identify those dies with lots of similar shapes, heavy-duty bags to store 12 by 12 and 6 by 6 paper, a replacement tip for the fine tip glue pen in case yours gets clogged, and a bow maker. Share my Evernote notebook of current products for a nominal contribution. It functions as a fully searchable catalog. Inspiration takes you to all my projects. If you're new to stamping, you might want to look at the basics. You'll find how to cut card bases and layers, what's special about Stampin' Up! Stamps, and some of my favorite tools. Under Organization, you'll find catalog tabs, labels and case inserts, a practically free stamp pad storage solution, a basic toolkit, as well as a compact desktop toolbox, and lots of color charts. You can take a tour of my craft wall. More organization means more time for crafting. Come stamp with me here in Ventura County, California, or get the best deal of all and join my team of crafters. The team is called SIP Together, and it stands for Stamps, Ink, and Paper Together. The team is made of crafters who want to save money on the products they buy, share with a few friends, or grow a business like mine. Be sure to subscribe to my website and on YouTube. I'd love to hear your comments. Thank you for joining me. Talk to you soon. Bye.